Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Travelers Season 2, Episode 4. It's called 1127. So, full spoilers for the episode. As always, this one started running, and it started running, and we're like, okay, what's going on here? Like, the first scene, I was like, what's happening? Who's exchanging what?
Yeah,
Message boards? Something's going on. What's happening? It obviously becomes more clear quite quickly once it gets
yeah,
going. But it really starts off in this place. And we have two sort of main plots that are related to each other. It becomes clear how related they are as you get further into the episode. But the two main plots, you've got Trevor and Philip. Trevor being the one who's actually making personal contact with this girl named Abby, who has purchased a bomb from them uh, I mean, it's actually from someone else, and they intercepted it and then passed it on. But she's going to blow this place up, and we learn about the plot. We learn about this place is trying to push this new uh, type of crop that takes more from the soil, but the actual effects of this long term will be devastating. Where it'll make all the soil like
yeah.
unusable.
And we know they've had a problem with famine in the future.
Yeah. So you can see why this is something they want to deal with. And she wants to bomb this place. She's like an extreme environmentalist, basically.
Yeah,
Bit of a hacktivist. She has a lot of computer stuff as well, it seems. But she wants to do this. She's gone down this path. And the core conflict for Trevor is that he has a hard time letting this happen because she's okay. She's a bit of an extremist because she wants to do this, but she's otherwise seemingly quite a normal person who,
yeah,
maybe he could save, maybe he could stop from doing this. Because a big thing throughout the episode is it becomes clear, because they don't actually tell you this early on. It's not until she's been around a little bit. He's even brought her back to the base. And which, at the time I was thinking, this is a bit weird. Why are you bringing her back to I mean, I know you're helping her and you're getting involved in making the bomb a bit safer and so on. And then I realised later on, when he comes back inside after talking to her alone, he's worried that, he's like, oh, this sucks that some people still have to die, and he has that
yeah.
conversation with Philip, and I'm like, oh, that's why you brought her back here, because it doesn't matter.
Because it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah. So that was really neatly worked out. And so I guess it's an interesting idea that you have to let this happen. You have
yeah,
to. It's almost like this was something that she tried to do, maybe it didn't have the effect they wanted, or they're trying to boost it with the other plot in the episode, which is, and this was bringing back a character from last season. This is if you remember the plane episode from last season, the whole thing was this congressman is going to be travelled into, and we have to make sure he's safe. And that was a big ordeal, of course, big action set piece of the season. And he's here, and it turns out he's got a heart condition. So the director's new plan for him is that he is going to be a martyr. He's been publicly against this bill that's going to let the corporation use this new crop.
yeah,
Uh, what's the word for it? There was like a sciencey word they were using for it.
yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't know the word. It's
Uh,
not.
not my field.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did get like an A in biology,
Come on,
but
I appreciate that pun.
no, I got it. But I was
Not
wanting
my
to brush over
field,
it.
crop field.
I
Oh,
know.
come
I
on.
wanted to brush over it.
Oh, it was great. That was a good. Because do you know what I loved about that pun? Is it that played completely straight. That worked in complete context.
It did.
But anyway,
No, no
so,
recognition.
so you got Mac and you got Carl. They setting up to take care of the congressman, and they keep talking about this distraction. Then you realise that's going to be the explosion from this building.
Yeah, so it's there. I figured that the bomb was always going to go off. She was
Yeah.
always going to die from the bomb. They just kind of tweaked the timing a little.
Um, I actually think it's more than that. I think they tweaked how effective it was going to be. Like I think maybe when it went off originally, it wasn't as big an explosion
Okay.
to really do the damage or whatever. Like because they modify it, they do a lot of stuff with
They
it.
do. They
Uh,
do.
so yeah, timing might be a factor, but I'm thinking it's like that combined with the martyr of the congressman
Yeah.
at the same time. And the congressman's not happy about this. He's like, oh, I've just been sent here to die. Like, this is bullshit. And Mac's like, no, it's everything's for the cause. Like, you have to do this. There's a lot of neat little things to set up early on, just from a character perspective in this episode, that actually come into play in a big way towards the
Yeah.
end. Much like him not wanting to just die for the cause, he'll go through with it, but he's not happy, and then that gets us to where we are with Trevor when everything goes down. Um, so really neatly constructed in that sense, because when everything is going down, and you've got Philip and Trevor at the van, and Abby's going to go in, and because she works there, she works like down in the basement in this building, so she has access to get in. And I think one of the big things they did too is they made sure it could go through security, because
I think so. Get through the metal detectors and stuff.
because they made a big point about that, yeah. But she's going in, and she actually turns back and comes back out, and this is, they're sitting in the van, and even Philip, who's been kind of like more like, no, this still has to happen. It's a shame, but it has to happen. Even he's like, yeah, I'm sorry this is happening. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She has to die. And but then she like knocks on the door and she's back outside, and like, well, what happens? Like, well, and it just the interaction with Trevor and talking to him has sort of given her some sense, given her some sort of some logic that she can think about, and she's decided against it, because they have quite a sweet moment where like she's clearly into him, which, and she points out that he is a high schooler. She does actually mention, it's like, oh, where were you guys in high school? Maybe I'd have had someone to talk to. But she's sensible, and even in that scene, the idea that she was smoking, then he kind of just points out why he doesn't, and he doesn't force his opinion on her, but she immediately just quits.
Yeah.
So again, it's the idea that he just inspires the thought process, and then she makes the choice because of it. And I think from a perspective of everyone involved, it's only just because of the context they're in, this is the right choice for anyone to make. This is a positive choice to make. But because she was supposed to die, the director immediately beams a message through her. And I love the reaction from Trevor and Philip when this happened, because they knew she was dead as soon as it started. They just started screaming no. It was a phenomenal moment. And the message is like, hey, Traveller, whatever Trevor's number is, you finish the mission, you do it.
Yeah. This is where the episode turned around for me. Because I thought up to this point, the opening 5 minutes, like you say, I hit the ground running. I feel like it did slow down quite a bit after that. And for like maybe 20 minutes or so, I was going, okay, this is feeling like the weakest episode of the season yet. Like, it was still fine, but it wasn't really grabbing me in the same way the past few episodes have.
Mm-hmm.
And then it hit this point, and I was like, oh, okay, now it's coming together. Now it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd maybe have went that far. I mean, admittedly, it's hard to think about now that I've seen the whole episode. And
well, I remember thinking it at the time. Yeah. I was like, okay, this episode's all right.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't think I was.
No, that's fair.
But yeah, so it all sort of comes out of play, and he's given this like big goodbye. He's on the comms. He's like, guys, sorry, I need to go in. I need to do this. Protocol 1, it has to happen. And he's going in. He gives him the bag. He gives him the bomb, and he has it set up. And it's actually Philip, which is a nice little turn, given. He was the one who was kind of reinforcing like Protocol 1 has to happen, and or even Protocol 5.
Yeah, 5's a stretch on this one.
Yeah. What is 5?
5's the resume their normal lives.
Yeah, okay, I didn't mean 5 then.
Yeah.
What was I meaning? It's not just 1. Maybe it is just 1.
Maybe it is just 1, yeah. Right. The mission comes first.
Yeah. No, it's kind of no, it's Protocol 3 as well. Because we're talking about when Philip was saying, no, this has to happen. Saving a life is the same as taking a life. It's not meant to be taken.
Yeah, okay.
So that's Protocol 3 as well. It's Protocol 1 and 3.
All right, I'll allow it.
Oh, I'm glad you approve.
Yeah, you should be.
But yeah, so he goes out. It's a big emotional moment, big payoff, and like everyone's hearing this over the comms, and they're just like, "Wait, what? Trevor's about to die? What?" And like none of them are happy about it. Obviously, they're all kind of
yeah. But Mac's just like, okay, go on then.
Yeah,
do what you gotta do.
He's being the harsh leader. At this point, Carly's got her sniper rifle up on the roof. She's ready to shoot this congressman. The congressman's stalling for time. He's sweating because he knows he's going to get shot. He's waiting for it.
Yeah.
And Marcy's just in the crowd. We'll talk about Marcy's plot. Marcy's plot is a little bit separate from everyone else's for this episode. There's one little moment though, because obviously this explosion is meant to cause a distraction, and then the bomb never goes off because Philip hacks into it and turns off the timer. He turns it off.
Yeah.
And Trevor's confused what to do when that happens. He gets out. They're all
turns it off and on again a few times.
He does. He tries his best. And Carly's holding off, but like, no, we have to do this, especially because the congressman starts having a heart attack, and it won't be a martyr if he dies of a natural cause.
Yeah,
So,
that's why they're doing it when they are, because they know well he's going to die then anyway.
yeah, so they they do it, and luckily the cop lady friend who we've had since season 1, I forget her name. It's been a while.
Yeah,
But she swoops in and sort of saves the day a little bit, and so no, it's a very exciting scene. Everything's going off at the same time. Trevor's stuff in particular was quite. I didn't think he was going to actually die. Like, I knew there was going to be a swerve.
I considered it could have happened. Like, it was
Yeah.
like, okay, we're early in season 2. You want to shake things up,
Yeah.
really, like, make a statement. I can see it happening.
Yeah, but I'm glad where it goes, because when they all get back to the base and there's like, the confrontation, it's like, okay, what happened? Max, like, what went on? And he's like, oh, I think it was hacked remotely. And Philip just comes out and says, no, I've been me. Like, I did it. And and I love this. It's the idea of the mistrust of the orders is starting to come into it, where Philip's like, well, like 3 other companies are like close to cracking this same thing. Like, this was not going to accomplish that much. The girl died for nothing. Was I supposed to let Trevor die for nothing as well? Like, he's starting to question it. And when Carly gives him shit, he's like, yeah, what about that order to kill Mac? Still not done that yet. Like, we're just ignoring that one. Like, that one's suspicious.
I pick and choose.
So, and it's like just this idea that he's starting to think, maybe the director isn't just this be-all, end-all with the supreme knowledge of making everything work. The idea that this whole idea of being devoted to just this one computer making these choices was maybe a poor idea. I like that doubt. And then the debate amongst them, where some of them are still devout, he's clearly starting to not be, and kind of what plays off. So I think a big idea came out from this episode by the end, and I like that it was Philip who had the turn, because he was kind of, it was almost like he was trying to convince himself throughout the episode that he still believed in this. Yeah. He was trying to he's like, no, this has to happen.
I think he did, when it wasn't someone that he had to think about caring. It wasn't until it was someone that he cared about that he considered it. So, as it was just intentionally someone he's not attached to, he's kind of like, yeah, okay, it's history, I don't care.
Well, I think when I say he's convincing himself, I don't necessarily mean consciously.
Okay.
Because I think the idea of that doubt and the idea of, can we trust this? Like, I think given everything that's happened since the finale of season 1, especially, like, they have reason to doubt. They have reason to doubt where their messages are coming from, and even the intentions of the director. Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of calling into question.
No, definitely.
What is the director's goal really? Is it just save humanity? Like, I mean, if the director's self-aware,
Does it become self-preservation?
Well, that's the thing. If it's self-aware, does it realise that if this future never happens, then the director's never important?
It's never important, but if it did manage to come back into the machine, then it still exists, even if it saves humanity. So,
Yeah, but okay, what does that accomplish, given what I just said?
Yeah, but why would it? It might not feel the need to be important. I think if it's truly self-aware, it would be more concerned with making sure that it exists, and that, because if this future never happens, they don't have a reason to create the director. They don't have a reason to program it, so it doesn't exist at all. So I feel like the machine is more just for its personal sake of no, I can survive. I exist still because of that, even if we succeed.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though: if it did move to present day, then it's not in the future anymore.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, unless the machine, exists that whole time. So until the future is changed enough that it doesn't exist anymore, because it gets wishy-washy.
It's not wishy-washy. If it travelled to the 21st, then it's gone from the future.
Yeah. But what I mean is that machine that it travelled back to, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that machine just stays around until this point in the future, then it still exists in the future as well.
Oh, so you're saying this machine stays there the whole time, and then the original machine travels back, and the one that travelled back to is still ongoing in the future?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Alternatively, it could have just sent back a copy. It's a machine.
It could have done. It's kind of weird though, because we've not even brought up this machine since the first episode. So if it is back, it's a little bit weird that we've not even
It is. But we
questioned.
know it's there.
We do know it's there, and we know something happened with it, and it's not been destroyed. And I mean, arguably, if it did send himself back, like, you know, I'm saying he, as if it's he, but
Yeah.
if it did send itself back, then doesn't that create a weird paradox where it always has to be created in the future, and therefore ensuring that it'll never be completely fixed?
I mean, maybe, but that kind of applies to all the travelers, right? Because if this future never happens, they're
yeah.
never born to get sent back. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that one.
Okay, all right. But there's also the obvious thing where messages are now being sent by the faction instead.
Yes, of course.
That's the other obvious.
Yeah, well, we've been contemplating that though.
Yeah, that's the other obvious option for who's giving orders now. But no, given how loyal they were to the cause in the first season, is the best thing to shake this up is have them start to doubt if we can trust the orders, if we can trust
definitely.
the missions, and trust everything else. And of course, it's funny actually when Philip went over to his girlfriend's at first, and I saw her little sister. I'm like, well, she's getting a message beamed through
Yep.
at some point.
Yep.
I don't
Yep,
know when, but
definitely.
it's going to happen. And sure enough, that was the end of the episode. Right after as well, the explosion happens at the lab, and
Because obviously Trevor just left it in the bin.
yeah. Well, you say that, but they specifically point out now someone else finished that mission. Someone else set it off.
They did, but he left it in the building still, and we know it can be, activated remotely.
Oh yeah, no, not sure, but the point is the way you said that is if it just went off by
Oh no,
at
no,
random,
I mean,
because it was there.
I mean, was that still the intended target? Did someone think, oh, they might have taken the bomb back with them? Were they the target, or did they know it was still in the building?
Given how everything else they said, well, for a start, was a phone strap to it, and we know they track things through.
That's
Phones.
that's true. It's a good point.
So I think they'll no, it was the target that was intended. But it is interesting that they're saying, "Oh, who finished their mission?" Now it could just be another team of travelers. That's
Yeah.
But what's funny though is given what they've done here. In fact, the congressman even points out earlier in the episode. I'm surprised you even got trusted with this mission. Your team's done so many like messed up jobs at this point.
Yeah.
Like, do they start to be seen as like this like
Unreliable.
hinderment to the cause, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, does the director start sending messages to other traveller teams to take them out?
Yeah, possibly. I wonder if the intention is for them to botch some jobs as well. Like it's almost a reliant that these things will kind of go off script. It's like, well, and then we can kind of do something a bit different with it later.
Yeah. I think I like the idea of eventually this idea of them knowing things from the future in order to try and save it. That crutch just slowly starts to drift away, and eventually just have to start making calls based on what they think is right.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what Philip did in this episode. Philip made his call.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before that becomes the norm.
Which, by the way, when Philip leans into Mac, he's like, "Are you going to tell me none else of us have broken rules?" And I'm like, "Mac, maybe fess up about the baby right now."
Yeah. This is only going to get worse, as we said.
Yeah, I love how the camera went over to Marcy, because Marcy knows about it
Yeah.
at this point, as we see in the episode, so that was really cracking me up. But yeah, so Mac's worried because Kat, obviously she's had miscarriages before, and they go for the sonogram, and the baby's fine for now, but there is this little concern in there that could cause some problems, and Mac wants Marcy's like future, medical knowledge to come in and maybe up the chances of
Help her out, yeah.
up the chances of survival. And she's like, no, like
Why would I do that?
protocol 4, bitch.
Yeah.
Is basically her response. But by the end of the episode, almost inspired by Philip in a weird way, actually. After that conversation, where she's like, you know what, I'm a doctor first, and I kind of made a made a choice. So she actually says she made an oath, but I think that's again she's willing to, because I think when this Mac thing comes out, and then it comes out that she knew and didn't tell any of them, and she went along with it and she helped. Like it gives him an accomplice now.
Yeah, she's complicit in it.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting. So he snuck some pills into her medicine to, give her some fancy leading edge
Yeah. So just a touch.
medically speaking. Meanwhile, Marcy after this goes on a date with the doctor dude.
Yeah, this is the plot I was really not feeling.
Do you know? I was fine with it because I don't think you're supposed to ever like him. You're never supposed to think that this is going somewhere.
No, I don't. But I kind of found this plot a bit boring. Was the problem?
Well, I'll tell you why it's boring. It's boring because this guy is basically this show's version of Riley. Riley, of
Right.
course, from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But no, this is a valid comparison, I feel.
No, it is because
Yeah.
I didn't even question that. I didn't stop that. I
Yeah.
just agreed.
No, because he's the Riley, and because we still have David, of course, and David's ultimately who she's going to be with. We know this. At least it better be, right? Writers, come on, shut up, right? Stop messing around. But he's not really got a character. He's just this Blandy McBlanderson, right?
He's Doctor Number 3 as far as I'm concerned.
basically, which was Riley's problem in Buffy after Angel's whole thing, which was seasons long by the time that we got there, and Riley was just this bland, pretty boy with like no personality. He was just this blank slate to be this like rebound thing. But I do respect it. By the end of the episode, Marcy's like, "Yeah, nothing there. It was just a night of sex. It was fine." Right, I'm done.
Yeah, I think this is the most I've ever felt the network influence on this show is this plot.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'll
it felt really networky to me.
need to see what they do with it. Because they set him up before, so I knew it was coming in some capacity.
Yeah.
And I think there was a couple of lines of dialogue in the date scene, if you will, that I kind of liked. It was where she says, "Oh, this is going to be a big deal in the future," but it worked in context. But obviously, she means it literal. So
That stuff's always fun though. Like
Oh,
in this
yeah,
show, the double meanings. They're fun regardless of who they're talking to, what the scene is.
Yeah, I actually think it's kind of effective because in the sense that when he drops that really cheesy lines like, "Oh, every guy in the hospital would be jealous if they knew where I was," and it's this kind of awkward thing where he's trying to give her compliments, he's trying to flirt, and it's just coming off feeling really stale and feeling like he's prodding, and she's just not like. I mean, she appreciates that he's trying to be nice, but it's not really eliciting any feeling. I think he's actually doing a pretty decent job of just kind of putting you in her shoes for the most part. Not completely, because ultimately we're not really like, "Oh yeah, have sex with him, sure, whatever."
Well, yeah, I think that's why it loses me when it gets to the sex. I'm like, well, I didn't really feel like there was anything to justify it. This just feels like, okay, she's just going along the motions. And I get it, maybe that's what it's supposed to be, but it didn't feel like that in the moment.
Yeah, honestly, the sex is the only thing that I can't really get behind. Because up until that point, I think what we're feeling is what exactly we're supposed to feel about this guy and how she feels about him. Because she has that moment where she tries to call David and she hangs up and she can't do it. Like,
yeah,
clearly our feelings are in the right place where we want them to be.
Yeah, exactly.
If we're shipping, Marcy and David,
which I guess we are at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you know what? This is the thing though. There's shipping when it's just two random characters who are never supposed to be even remotely related in that sense, and then there's shipping when it's no. This is the two characters who the writers have set up from day one as the love interests of each other, and they're building to it and laying the groundwork, and
yeah, exactly,
and it's working. So to take your pick. But yeah, so actually, I'll give it a lot of leeway. I do admit the sex was a bit like, because when it cut to the sex scene, because it just kind of cuts to them and like they're taking off their clothes in front of the mirror and whatever. I'm like, oh, all right, okay.
Because like you said, it really felt like she was just kind of brushing him off. She's not really that interested in him, and then it was just like, but this is here anyway.
Yeah, that said though, after the sex when he's leaving and she's just sort of still in bed, it felt this cold, like, okay, right, I've used you now, get out.
It did.
That's what it felt like. So yeah, I think she's just dealing with her, and I think this is maybe a hint of like, just kind of, do you know how her personality almost got reset by like however many months from when she like arrived, I should say. We're talking about sex, so I just felt weird to say came, but I almost wonder, like, because we knew she was a bit colder, a bit harder when she first arrived, and she softened up because of her relationship with David. I wonder, like, if this is a hint of, like, just. I mean, I don't know if in the future she'd have sex to, like, just deal with her feelings and just this emotionless just
to
get it out of her system.
I get what you're saying.
maybe that was what she was like in the future. I don't know, but
Maybe it was, but like I say, it's not the character we've come to know over the past, season plus.
yeah. So I think it'll be interesting, like her finding her not that she's heartless, but her finding her heart with David again over the course of the season. I did like her zinger though at the start when we first meet Abby, and she's been kind of a fast talking, kind of mouthy person, and Philip says, "She's charming," and Marcia just goes, "Yeah, reminds me of your girlfriend."
She does not like her at all.
She does not, and the feeling's mutual from what we've seen. So
exactly, it's all fair.
That's why Philip always meets at her house. We never get her coming back.
Yeah, she's not welcome back here anymore.
No. So that was that plot. We mentioned the pregnancy and those complications. That was most of the main beats.
Yeah.
But like I say, no, a big thing for me is this idea of at least one of them starting to say, "Hey, I don't know if I believe in this plan anymore. I don't know if I believe in the director and what." Yeah. At the very least, I don't believe if we're getting messages from the right person, which is not how he phrased it. But I'm just pulling devil's advocate that could be the problem here, is that it's someone else. Because this is the thing. It could just be another team of travelers who blew up the building. It could be the faction who blew up the building. It could,
Yeah, we don't know what's been gained from doing this, and who's gained what.
And I really like the moment where they're worried that Trevor went back over the comms. They're like, "Trevor, are you there? Trevor, come back in."
Is that you trying to finish the mission?
Yeah, and he's like, "Sorry, I was with my parents, so I couldn't talk." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." So that was a nice little touch, and I did like Mac saying he was glad he was alive afterward, even though he spent most of that speech saying no. That shouldn't have happened. The plan was for Trevor to die. He's like, "Oh, but I am happy you're still alive, by the way." Just for the record.
I'll take what I can, but you probably should be dead.
Yeah. So no. So that is episode 4 of Travelers. Any further thoughts?
I really enjoyed the last 15 minutes from the moment that the message comes through Abby. Great stuff.
Yeah, actually, I will say it starts a little. I mean, I was enjoying it more than you, I think, before then. But I will say the moment of excitement's kicking in is when the countdown timer came up. When it said time to explosion.
No, yeah, you're right. The start of that sequence in general.
Because when she's walking in the building, it just does that thing. Because we've not really seen it since the first episode of this season. I don't think they've been a bit more. Right. They've been holding that back a little bit more this year. But
yeah.
When that came in, I was like, oh, okay, countdown time.
Yeah, you're right. That's the moment.
Yeah. Which is actually about halfway through the episode, I think, just over halfway.
Oh yeah, maybe. I said 15 minutes. Maybe it's closer to 20. But I did like the way that countdown it mostly played in real time as well. Because it comes in and you follow it for a good minute or so until it cuts away to something else. Yeah.
Also, just I want to reiterate how funny I thought it was that the congressman thought he'd be shot by now, so he then starts stalling and extending his speech
and fighting through having a heart attack.
Yeah, just long enough to get the bullet.
Yeah.
What a trooper!
He did his job.
But there you go. We should mention, of course, the final scene. The little sister comes up to Philip, and it's his number that she says, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Traveller 30, whatever it was. I'm sure
it sounded familiar enough that it was his, yeah.
Yeah, so it was meant for him, because I think one of the things you could read is maybe it was meant for her instead, and he just happened to be the one who's...
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it was for him. I actually rewatched this scene 3 times, thinking that I was supposed to understand more than I was.
No.
It's just complete. It's like
and then it's about memory sequence 7.
It was open subdirect memory sequence something or other, and then it started just rattling out all these codes and numbers and
sounded like maybe file names.
Yeah, it was like IDM, ID4, ID this, was a lot of that stuff. And then number sequences, and it sounds like it kept going as well. Once we
it did, yeah. But he had a look like it looked like it meant something to him at least. He didn't look really confused. I mean, shocked, sure, this was happening, but
because one of the things I thought, just briefly, because this is one of the reasons why I went back and checked it, is I thought because the chemical that was going into these crops was like C6 something or whatever, and I thought, I wonder if that was in there, and it was like telling us that the travelers were actually some way responsible for this thing in the first place, like some weird thing, but it wasn't in there. It wasn't. But I was just because it was the only thing from the episode that had like a sort of sound to it that was
I considered that was all, but I was like, no, it's something else.
It is something else that I'm sure Philip's going to bring up with the team, unless it's something that's telling him to do in secret, which it might be.
It might well be. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, it did not look a pleasant, pleasant message.
It didn't. No.
He was on alert when he heard it, so
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what that is. And hey, I wonder if it's just a message saying, "Hey, compromised. Like, don't trust anything else you hear," or something like that. That could be cool.
Could be a code. Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, so that is Travelers episode 4, season 2. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You'll get a link to that in the description as well as some other useful links. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?